Hey folks, I'm Duffy Duck here, and I am back from the likes of the Merxy Toys videos, and welcome back for some more of the Sonic's Game Gear Marathon department, and also welcome back for more Let's Play of Sonic Drift for the Sega Game Gear. So, last time we managed to tackle through the Green Chaos GP Cup, and I managed to do almost in a perfect run, but almost in a, I've only lost in a lap with level, and that's all there is to say. And today for this video anyway, is the fact that we're moving on into the Yellow Chaos GP Cup. So even then though, the character choices you can see here, I'm actually going to be using Amy Rose in this cup, because, as far as I'm aware, originally I was trying to actually go ahead and say right now, originally I was going to select Dr. Eggman for this video, but unfortunately though, I'm not very good with Eggman, unfortunately, but probably because of how the fact that, I'll discuss more details onto that later. So, here we go, folks, on to, Yellow Chaos Yellow GP Cup in the game, and as far as I'm aware, though, there's not much else we can actually say about the level themes, basically. It's basically more likely exactly the same level themes, but the only noticeable difference is obviously the track layout is the only major difference, though, anyway. So, that's as far as memory is concerned with this particular game and onwards, and even then, that's the simple premise of this. But until when it gets to Sonic Drift 2, that the tracks themselves are going to be slightly a little bit more different and unique at the same time. So, in fact, speaking of such though, that today was actually forms of the 15th of August. You know what that means, folks? I'm actually really excited for today. And that was the form of Sonic Mania has now recently released today in the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC versions especially as well. So even then though, I was really excited for it, and then yes, I managed to now finally got it on my PlayStation 4 console. So even then though, I might as well give this my first impressions on that game, but not until when I discuss more to that and during the next video after this particular track is over, or in this case, in this particular Let's Play is done. So, anyways, for the most part, that Amy feels exactly like Tails, as far as the actual, contrast as far as that's been concerned. But except the noticeable difference was, though, is the fact that, well, noticeably, Tails' special ability is that if he actually goes accidentally in off-road, and he's able to actually clarify to actually, go ahead and go back into the actual track itself, if I recall correctly, if you're actually going to be collecting those rings most of the time. However, though, that Amy Rose doesn't have this special unique ability, and that was the form of this little familiar heart object. I believe it's more likely a projectile of any sort, but sometimes that, again, you can actually, and sometimes it randomly decides to activate the ability or whatnot, so even then, that sometimes is really hard to tell that if you actually decide to activate or not, so even then, surprisingly enough, unlike the ones in Sonic R, is that in Sonic R, released on the Sega Saturn, that, Amy usually uses her car to actually just to qualify for driving around the track. Actually, to this game's credit, especially noticeable in Sonic Drift 2 as well, which even then though Sylvester will get a tackle for that once I finish with this first game out of the way, that, Amy, she's not that bad at it. So even then though, that I found her quite useful at points, and also that her special ability is actually very, very handy as well, at least as far as I was expecting it to. So, yeah, in regards to those side of things, one thing I haven't mentioned about this and during the actual hint of how to actually win this game with easy as pie is the fact that I've managed to discover is that you can actually do a U-turn, but in order to actually perform that is that you have to press those two buttons, specifically the brake button or the accelerate button at the same time. But if you do that correctly, then you're able to actually perform yourselves a U-turn. So even then though, that could be used for at certain points, especially in Drift's case. So even then yeah, as you can see, I'm going to get hit by these pillars a lot. So even then that's all I can really compromise into something. So yeah, another thing is worth mentioning though, on the other hand, is the fact that, I've totally noticed right off the bat though, is the fact that, I don't know what to think about for the time, to be honest with you, but, anyway, that I'm still concerned that the Emoji Movie still sucks as all hell. But even then, I'd still consider the fact that it still has 6% lower compared to the other films in the entirety of the Sony Pictures animation at that one point. So even then, I'm glad about that, because even then, the Emoji Movie still sucks. I freaking hated it. Actually, to the point here, folks, I'm between Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric, aka the worst Sonic games I've ever going to be seeing, and also the Emoji Movie is one of the worst animated films I've ever seen, alongside with the Son of the Mask, and even Chicken Little, and even Cars 2, and even what's another film that is usually come up by from I'm guessing Thomas and the Magic Railroad. I had to be brutally honest here. Well, I do love it as a kid, but every now and then I start to get really old about it. And plus, like, the faces themselves look really creepy as hell. Although, to be fair, yeah, whatever. So here we go on to Labyrinth Zone, in this case the second incarnation of Labyrinth. In fact, strangely enough though, it's the fact that the track you actually could be seeing the entirety of the background, as you can see. You might be thinking this might be a water level just to begin with, since Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the sake of Game Gear and sake of Mega Drive and whatever. That it turns out it kind of reminds me like I was driving in the desert area for some reason. Because even under you can see the sunset background in addition to this yellow ground. So even under that does almost resembles to the actual desert itself. So yeah, one thing I need to point out though is the fact that King of 34 did actually try out those Game Gear Sonic titles every once in a while. Like for instance, he did try out only 2 games specifically, like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and Sonic Drift, which usually comes from, again, Sonic Adventure DX, because, you know, he already done that Let's Play almost until 4 years ago, actually. So even then, that's only because of how the fact that that was that year in 2013 before we actually did our Let's Play during that time. But even though back in the first attempt on that Let's Play was a bit crappy, but even then though, then the second attempt, that is actually a little bit more better due to the quality standpoint and also the better audio, and even a commentary is actually included. So even then though, that nothing's go out of place here, so even then though, everything else is all in check here. So anyway though, this track might be a little bit tricky because of these little sharp turns, as you can see. Oh yeah, right there. If you actually go and you turn like too much at one point, you will easily spin out, and plus you'll lose a ring in the process. Even then, I suggest you do that wisely. Not all the time, because again, you will spin out. So even then, yeah, it's basically more likely. It feels very similar to the ones in that was before when Mario Kart 64 usually adds that tradition. Whenever you drift too much and you spin out most of the time, so even then, it does remind me of that. So you're probably wondering what the time length is actually pretty short at the moment. It's probably because, again, I established that in the beginning part of this Let's Play is the fact that I'm going to be going through the cups per video, or 1 cup per video. So even then, this is pretty much the easily, forget it. Sorry for a lack of dialogue or any explanation whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing I'm actually really surprised for Sonic Mania, specifically on the PlayStation 4 version, is actually the trophy system. But even then, I can't wait to actually see how that turns out. So even then, that might give it a shot. Especially noticeable in the competition mode to see how that turns out as well. And even the time attack mode, and especially the main story itself. The only thing I'm not exactly sure of is they actually bring up the profiles, or even especially noticeable if they actually contains separate, like 3 extra files, just like how it does in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and Knuckles especially, and even the Christian Whitehead versions of Sonic 1, Sonic 2, and Sonic CD. That I was really hoping that actually contains a file selection screen, which even then, I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but even I'll definitely find out when I start to play Sonic Mania during that time period. So with that being said though, I'm really excited for that actually. So even then, alongside with that I've recently saw episode 14 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Season 7, and for what it's worth, it actually feels really good actually. So even then well, usually as far as I can tell for that right there, because again, I was a brony after all. By the way, another thing is worth mentioning though is the fact that it depends on which variation of the levels you've already been to. The noticeable only difference is the fact that the background itself can alternate it slightly. So even then though, yeah, it sometimes feels a bit different. So there we go, folks. That's it for the Yellow Cup, or in this case, the Yellow Chaos GP Cup. So even though I'm actually done a dominated run through. So yeah, the only points you can only hold up to is actually forms of 18 points maximum. So even though that's the only points you can only hold up to. So yeah, see you in the next GP. In this case, the final GP in the game. So yeah, join me next time. Let's play Sonic Drift. Is the fact that we're moving on to the final cup in the game, and that was the form of the Red Chaos GP Cup. So see you guys next time. Later, fellas.